Shalom, WJC family. It's time for our weekly Torah talk. This week in Shul, we'll be reading Parshat Bo. Coming towards the end of the Exodus story, Bo contains the last three plagues, and including the death of the firstborn among Egypt, as well as the rules of Passover, both the Passover of that night, when Moses commands his people to put the blood on the doorsteps, as well as ongoing, the restrictions from eating matzah and whatnot. I wanted to address a passage that really jumped out at me this week, because it's about anger. And I feel like we've been living with so much anger burning through our society. And it's a terrible thing. The sense of anger and angst all around us, political as well as among neighbors, just so much rage and discontent. But the last person I would expect to be angry at the end of the Exodus story is Moses. But sure enough, after he tells Pharaoh, right, he's having an argument with Pharaoh. Pharaoh tells him he should get out. I don't want to see your face anymore. And it says, Moses says, well, I got one more thing to tell you. And that's that a grievous plague is coming, where all the firstborn in the land of Egypt will die. And your people will be so devastated, they're going to come to us and they are going to beg us to leave. Please just go, get out. We don't want to see you anymore. And then, and only then, will we leave. And then Moses says, and then the Torah says, Vayetze me'im paro bechari af. And he goes out from before Pharaoh, bechari af, in furious anger, in a rage. What is he so angry about? Right, Moses, as he's going to deliver one of the worst death sentences in the history of humanity. Right, we could argue it's just, it's not just, it's measure for measure, they killed our sons. Terrible. After wreaking all this havoc upon Egypt, right, now he's leaving, he's won. Why is he angry? As a matter of fact, Pharaoh should be angry. Right, Pharaoh's the one who just got spoken to so disrespectfully. Pharaoh's the one who is, has been burdened by 9 previous plagues, and now a threat on the firstborn of Egypt, of which he is one. It seems to be totally incongruous. Not only, by the way, the Talmud tells us, not only does he leave in a terrible rage, how angry is he? He actually slaps Pharaoh on his way out. He strikes him. He's so angry. So what is Moses so angry about, and what are we supposed to learn from it? Well, there are various explanations, but the one that makes the most sense to me is that he's angry because he can't help him anymore, right? So Rashi points out when he says he leaves from Pharaoh angrily. He says, why, says Rashi. And Rashi says, it's because just before this, Pharaoh said, get out, I don't want to see you anymore. Right? They were having a fight. He says, get out, I don't want to see you anymore. And Moses says, oh, you're right, you're not going to see me anymore because this terrible plague is coming. So Rashi says he's angry because Pharaoh said, we won't see each other again. Why does that anger him so? Not because he's insulted, but because he can't help Pharaoh anymore. Right? All this time, as he's come with warning after warning, he's trying to help Pharaoh be the better person, to understand the evil ways of slavery and genocide, and to help him be a better ruler, a better man. Pharaoh is beyond help. Moses has even been told by God that Pharaoh is beyond help. But Moses doesn't lose hope. Why? Because when he looks at Pharaoh, who does he see? He sees his brother. He sees the person he shared the palace with for his entire youth. There's a relationship there. The one who welcomed Moses into his palace, saved him when he was a baby, fed him, nurtured him, allowed that to happen under his roof. And Moses, as angry as he is, as despicable a character as he knows Pharaoh is, because of the slavery that he induces upon other peoples, upon the Jewish people, upon his own people, still he wants to help. And when Pharaoh says, "You, I don't want to see ever again," Moses knows that window has closed. And he can't help anymore. And because he can't help, he is angry. Only when he sees he can do no more good, only then is he angry. It's a powerful idea, right? Anger is in fact appropriate sometimes. But we have to be careful about from where our anger comes. Moshe's anger is not spiteful anger, even though it's deserved that it should be. And so too our anger can't be spiteful anger. Our fury should only be in the face of our own inability to help others. Only when they won't let us, when the dialogue is cut off. But we should always be seeking dialogue, no matter how. Remember, Pharaoh is a genocidal maniac. But Moses wants to help him. Right? He's a tzaddik. So too us. When we are disappointed in our neighbors, we should still see them as our neighbors, as those who live close to us, those with whom we share a street, a block, a community, a neighborhood. That is who they are first. And the only rage we should feel, the only fury we should feel when we gaze upon our neighbors is the anger that we can't heal these divisions, that we can't help them be better people if we can't stay in dialogue. The anger is a frustration of the impotence to do good. That anger is a great anger. We should be inspired by that anger. But all the rest of this anger we feel, the spite, the political spite, the disenfranchisement of our neighbors, of different communities, the disdain, the anger of those who we seem to think are less deserving than us, all of that anger that seems to have set this country aflame, that anger has got to stop. And we won't get rid of it by lashing out in spiteful anger, but only by lashing out with generous anger, with genuinely trying to help those who we see as the other, those who treat us as the other. Always, when we reach out, it should be in hopes of help. And when we can approach the world with generous anger, the anger that Moses felt even for Pharaoh, even the most evil of the evil, the generous anger to try and help him be better. When we approach our world and our community with that anger, when we bring that fire of healing and passionate generosity to our community, then when that is the only anger left, that's when we will have created the kind of healthy society, community, neighborhoods, relationships that we so desire. But it starts with dialogue. It starts with talking. What gets Moses angry is that they can't speak face to face anymore. So too, we cannot cut off dialogue, no matter how difficult it is for us. The only way to build up, the only way to express generous anger is to be in dialogue, to be in generous conversation. It feels this week like a new era is starting. Let us approach that new era with generous anger, with the desire to do good, with the desire for healing and help, even when we're not sure the person deserves it. That is the model of Moses. That is the model of generous anger. And through that generosity of spirit that is so passionate that it even may inflame in us hot anger, that is when we get on our way to our own redemption and making this country again into the place we have always thought it is. Shabbat Shalom.